Every year carries themes, patterns, and elemental characteristics that move through our body, mind, and our identities. And when you understand these patterns, it helps you stop reacting to life and start moving with it. And so with the ending of this year and the starting of a new, let us break down the patterns of this last year, 2025, so you can see how these scientific, archetypical patterns play out in your life, and we can see what 2026 has in store. 2025 was the year of the wood snake. In tarot, it was the year of the hermit. Numerologically, the year 9. And astrologically, 2025 emphasized closure, inward reflection, and the dissolving of outdated identities. Touching upon each of these so one can recognize the patterns you have already lived. Because once you see them, you start to recognize the archetypical flow of life, no longer isolating yourself from events, but realize the connectiveness of all of our journeys. Numerologically, 2025 was a 9 year, the final year of a 9-year cycle. Year 9 is not about starting something new, but about finishing what has already been started. And so this year, where things did not necessarily break, but simply stopped working if not aligned. Motivation fades, effort feels heavier, and old goals lose their charge. And so it can feel like the closing of chapters, the letting go of identities you've outgrown, emotional honesty without immediate answers, and the fatigue that rest alone did not fix. As the purpose of a 9-year is integration, asking, what have you learned? What are you still carrying that no longer needs to come with you? Because nothing new can truly begin until the old cycle has been honored and released. As this is not an ending in a negative sense, but a completion. In the Chinese lunar calendar, 2025 was the year of the yin wood snake. As the snake energy is about shedding, not forcing change, but letting old skin fall away when they are no longer alive, lining up with the themes of a year 9. With the yin wood being that of growing underground, as roots spread before anything breaks the surface. And so this could have looked like quiet realizations you couldn't unsee, emotional processing without immediate action, relationships, habits, or desires losing charge naturally, and or feeling like something was changing but slowly. As the wood snake year doesn't feel explosive, but an introspective, subtle, and an honest feeling. You might not have known what you were becoming, but you knew what you could no longer be. This aligns with the tarot as 2025 is the year of the hermit. As the hermit is not about isolation as punishment, but about withdrawing to hear what is real, stepping away from the noise, not life. Looking like pulling back from the social noise, losing interest in proving or performing, questioning spiritual paths, careers, or relationships, and wanting simplicity without knowing what comes next. With even the feeling of being alone, even while surrounded by people, not because of a disconnection, but because your inner compass was recalibrating. And so as all of these archetypical science follow astrology, we can see that 2025 carried a clear message of closure, recalibration, and inward reckoning. As it is the collective transition phase, the ending of a cycle, the closure for new growth. With many people, it could have shown up as delays or slow movement, sensitivity and nervous system fatigue, less tolerance for noise, conflicts, or lies, and seeing truth clearly without knowing what to do with it yet. Making some feel uncomfortable for the shedding of the skin. For action-oriented people, 2025 felt frustrating. For introspective people, it felt clarifying. And for most people, it felt like a mix of both, clarity without momentum. And so 2025 was not asking you to traditionally act, but to listen. Because whatever comes next needs to be built from what is actually true, not what used to work. Replenishing and cultivating the soil for the new growth about to happen. Now, if 2025 was about shedding, withdrawing, and completing a cycle, 2026 is where movement returns, an initiation, the beginning of a new cycle. As numerologically, 2026 is a year of one, the year of initiation, identity, and direction. This is where something new wants to move through you, bringing new paths, new identities, new leadership, and new momentum. But the key is this: it is that you do not initiate from effort, but from alignment. And so the start of the new 9-year cycle invites the beginning of many things in life. Where 2025 felt heavy, slow, or inward, 2026 can feel fast, directional, and activating. And so the beginning of a new cycle is powerful, but is also unstable if rushed. A year one amplifies will, desire, and momentum. So clarity becomes more important than speed. Otherwise, initiation turns into impulse. As adding up the numbers of the year 2026 equals 10, then adding the 1 and 0 gets you a year 1. And so this year 1 is the seed of a 9-year cycle, setting the tone for the next 9 years. This is where direction is chosen, often before it fully makes sense. It's not about having everything figured out, but it's about responding to the first clear signal. Oftentimes, in a year 1, people can feel a pull towards something new, a desire to step into leadership, clear yes or no moments, less tolerance for stagnation, and an urge to move, decide, and initiate. It is the energy for the first steps, not finished plans. And so the shadow of a year 1 can be amplification of will, desire, and momentum. Initiation without clarity becomes impulsive. Speed without alignment becomes burnt out. And starting from ego rather than truth creates unstable foundations. A year 1 is not asking you to force action. It is asking you to act from alignment. Small, clear, embodied steps taken in the right direction matter more than big, dramatic moves. And so this is why year 1 is powerful, but can be confusing, giving us the energy, but it does not give you wisdom. That part comes from awareness. In tarot, one of the oldest sciences, 2026 aligns with the magician. This archetype perfectly reflects the energy of a year 1, as the magician is the initiator, the one who takes an idea and begins to bring it into form. The magician is not about fantasy manifestations. He does not force reality. He works with clarity, intention, and timing. Above is aligned with below. Inner state directs outer action, making a clear difference between acting from impulse versus acting from alignment. In a magician year, people may feel a strong urge to initiate. Ideas arrive quickly, a desire to step into leadership, less patience for stagnation, a sense of it's time. But the magician asks an important question: do you know what you are working with? Every archetype has a shadow, and so the shadow of the magician tries to control outcomes. They rush, they force timelines, they mistake desire for direction, and they initiate from ego instead of alignment. This is where burnout, chaos, and unstable foundations come from. The integrated magician moves deliberately. They choose clarity over speed, presence over pressure, not asking how fast can I make this happen, but is this actually aligned? And so year 1 energy is powerful, giving us momentum, but the magician teaches you how to direct it, as the winds will come, but it is up to you to determine where it blows. Lunar and archetypically, 2026 carries strong yang fire horse energy. The horse energy is about movement, fast movement, as the horse archetype is freedom, momentum, and forward drive. It does not like confinement. It does not wait for permission. It moves towards open ground. In a collective sense, horse energy brings travel, directional change, breakaways, independence, and sudden decisions. When horse energy is active, things do not stay still for long. Adding the fire to that, fire is passion, ignition, and will. So fire horse energy does not just move, it accelerates, creating rapid shifts, strong impulses, bold action, risk-taking, and quick exits and quick entries. As the fire horse does not ask, is it safe, but ask, is this alive? And so people may experience sudden moves or travel, career pivots, relationship changes, a desire for independence, and a strong urge to follow instincts. This is the year people stop negotiating with what no longer fits. The shadow of this fiery horse is speed without grounding becomes recklessness, passion without clarity becomes burnout, and freedom without awareness becomes instability. This is where impulsive decisions can create unnecessary chaos. This is where the fire horse connects directly to the magician. As the fire horse supplies the fuel, the magician decides how to use it. Without awareness, the fire horse runs wild, but with awareness, it becomes directed power. 2026 is not asking you to suppress this energy. It is asking you to ride it consciously, to move, but not abandon yourself in the process. And so, the Rapidash energy rewards courage, but only when it is guided by clarity. Also, this fire horse energy does not just move through the sky, but through the body directly. In the elemental system of Wu Jing, fire is associated with the heart and small intestines, with the heart governing connection, passion, purpose, and emotional truth, and the small intestines governing discernment, what you take in and what you let go. And so, as this is not just symbolic, but literally affecting the body, remember to keep the flame healthy, to not cause burnout, taking special care of these organs and the associated meridians and emotions, aiding the body through holistic practices of meditation, movement, and natural medicines. Now that we have covered the grand archetypes happening this year, we can also look at big, influential shifts happening in the astrology. With one of the biggest shifts in 2026 is Saturn moving through Aries. As this has already begun, but it reaches its ground stable peak around February 13th, 2026, and is lasting till 2028. As archetypically, Saturn is associated with structure, discipline, and responsibility, and Aries is associated with initiation, action, and identity. This is the moment where new identities are not just imagined, they are tested, feeling like the pressure to take responsibility for your direction. No more waiting for permission, leadership being demanded, not requested. And so the question is, if you are going to begin something, are you willing to stand behind it? At the same time, Neptune is also in Aries, with Neptune being associated with spirituality, ideals, and illusions. And so this subtle yet powerful shift marks a shift from passive spirituality to embodied action. Neptune re-enters Aries January 26, 2026, and remains in Aries until 2039, dissolving escapism, spiritual bypassing, and waiting to be saved or guided. With the emergence of living truth, action aligned with belief, and spirituality that moves through the body. Another major shift is Uranus in Gemini, with Uranus associated with disruption, innovation, and shock, and Gemini associated with mind, communication, and information. This accelerates information, technology, and communication, as well as the nervous system. With the stable re-entry of Uranus into Gemini, April 25th, 2026, lasting until 2033. Many people will feel this as the faster mental pace, information overload, sudden insights, and shorter attention spans, as this is why grounding, breathing, and embodiment becomes essential. As without regulation, anxiety and fragmentation increases, but with awareness, genius, insight, and new ways of thinking occur. While there are many more astrological shifts that will be influential, these three set the stage for what's about to come in this 9-year cycle. As we can see the rapid increase of spirituality and awakenings, the movement to practical holistic health and embodiment, and the increase in technology, but also the shadows that come with spirituality coming to awareness, with the collective shadow work that needs to be done with the faster mental capacity and the increase of technology. It is the spiritual and holistic practices that the only way to ground these energies and become and flow with life. We may start to see the fruits of a lot of the technology advancements that have been set in motion, with a new crazy world being created at the same time, as well as the increase of spirituality and embodiment throughout the people. the flow of the yin and yang as we push towards evolution. Across numerology, tarot, lunar cycles, astrology, and the body, the message is the same. This is a year of initiation and aligned action. As this year of the magical Rapidash, the fire horse will be about trailblazing towards your path, your dharma. And so it's to learn how to flow, to align your dharma and your karma, so you stay on fire to shine light on this world. That's it for today's video. Like, subscribe, and leave any comments, questions, or topics. If you want to go deeper, I'll have links in my description. Thanks for watching. Peace.